Welcome to Trendy Flix, your ultimate destination for the latest in movies, TV shows, and streaming trends. Subscribe now and stay ahead of the entertainment curve.
Monsters, the Lyle and Erik Menendez story, what's true and what's fiction? It's been over 30 years since Erik and Lyle Menendez shot and killed their parents at their Beverly Hills home, but the brothers' story continues to develop. The murders initially shocked the country and the world, as did the boys' claims of abuse and multiple trials. Two recent Netflix titles, Ryan Murphy and Ian Brennan's Monsters, the Lyle and Erik Menendez story, released September 19, and Alejandro Hartmann's The Menendez Brothers documentary, released on October 7. Hollywood loves a little dramatic embellishment, especially with true crime. Since the Menendez brothers' first trial was broadcast on court TV in the 1990s, even the fictionalized version uses verbatim testimony and reenactment of specific moments. There's only so much actual fact-checking that can occur when it comes to the Menendez brothers, with two key witnesses to their childhood no longer alive, but other details, did Erik really advise O.J. Simpson, are too wild to believe or too vague to pinpoint, even when they're true. It's clear what drew Murphy, Brennan, and Netflix to a story like this one, now once again making headlines after recent developments and a surge of public support. So, what's true, false, and ambiguous in Monsters, the Lyle and Erik Menendez story, and how does it line up with the Menendez brothers and ongoing developments in the case? Read on for a key plot points and their real-life counterparts. The Menendez brothers, played by Nicholas Alexander Chavez and Cooper Koch in Monsters, did take up at Hotel Bel Air after the murders, but only for a few days. They spent time at various luxury hotels in the area and eventually settled in adjoining condominiums in Marina del Rey. It was all part of the massive spending spree they had embarked on, which did indeed include limousines, bodyguards, cars, and watches, and the eventual total of roughly $700,000. With inflation, that's close to $1.5 million today. Monsters depicts the two trials for Erik and Lyle, the first of which actually had two separate trials for each brother, and resulted in not one but two hung juries. As dramatic as it seems, Monsters asserts that the jury positions varied by gender, and that was true. The men voted for guilty and the women for not guilty, based on the testimonies about sexual assault. Monsters also depicts Abramson hosting the female jurors at her house after the trial. After that, the decision was made that the brothers would be tried together for the second time. As depicted in the show, the second trial deliberately limited testimony about the abuse, and deemed the evidence insufficient. The jurors were also only given the option to convict for murder instead of manslaughter, which meant that any verdict passed by the judge would be more severe. Lyle Menendez's college roommate Donovan Goodrow did take the stand at the first trial, but testified that when he had opened up about his own childhood sexual abuse, Lyle didn't respond with any shared experience. This is directly opposed to what Anthony Turpel's Donovan tells the lawyer in Monsters. However, in a prior interview, Donovan did indicate that he had heard about Jose abusing Lyle, and recordings of this interview made it into the courtroom and dashed the witness's credibility. Erik Menendez's attorney, played in the show by Ari Grainer, faced her fair share of public scrutiny throughout and following the trials. When it came to light that she had asked psychiatrist William Vickery to edit his interview notes with the brothers, it briefly looked like Abramson herself would face criminal charges. The Menendez brothers also filed for mistrial on the grounds that Abramson had not represented them effectively, thereby causing irreparable damage to the trial. Monsters depicts a phone relationship between Lyle and a woman named Norma Novell.